Okay, great. So, great to see everyone again. Lope here after a long time. Wonderful. You're on mute. Yeah, you can unmute if you like. Oh, can't unmute. Okay, now you can.
Yes. Hello, hello. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Hi, Lopa. See you after a long time.
Hi, Lopa.
Yes, hi, Master.
We missed you yesterday.
Where are you now?
Yes, I know.
Lopa, where are you now?
Chicago.
Chicago. Okay.
She's in Chicago. A lot of us are in the US. This is the summer, the migration
Nice summer.
time.
Nice
when
summer.
When all the birds migrate. On. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. There's a what is known as a dark sky preserve, which is an area marked off, which is where the light pollution of light from the cities and from towns and cars and whatever, all those the light pollution is not there at all, and it's an area where you can go to and see the stars, just sit there and under the stars and gaze at stars. And it was just such an amazing experience just to visit that place. And we were a family, a few of us, and everyone was saying, oh, it's already 11 o'clock at night, and it's already late. I said, yeah, we can't leave right now. We have to wait till 1 o'clock. Because that's when it'll be the darkest, and then that will be the right time to go there. So middle of the night, we traveled in the dark, and it was amazing. It is hard to even describe that space. It was just total darkness. Like if you held your hand in front of you, you can't see your own hand. It was that dark. That much darkness. And then the sky was just lit with more stars than you ever thought were present. And so many of the features, the constellations were so clearly visible, the Big Dipper, North Star. And of course, some interesting things happened. We saw some satellites going slowly across the sky. The satellite was clearly visible traveling across, and 1 or 2 shooting stars, and all of that. But so as I was just lying, we was lying on our back, just looking at the sky, and just the limited nature of our understanding became so clear to me. We look up at the sky and we think, okay, this is how the universe looks. This is how the universe is right now. This is what we think. But the nearest star that we are seeing at that time, the nearest star, which is the Proxima Centauri, which is the Alpha Centauri, there's a twin stars. Though that's the nearest star in anywhere you can see, that's the nearest star in the northern hemisphere. And that star is 4 light years away. So when you are looking at that star, you are seeing that star as it was 4 years ago, not the way it is right now. Let's say that 3 years ago, that star exploded and died. You wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know it for another 4 years after that. So right now, it may have already exploded and died. whether it's a total renovation or simply refreshing. But you think that it has died. Okay, so so you're not, so you, and this is the nearest star. The farthest star you can see with the naked eye, which is all the stars you see in the sky are all part of the Milky Way galaxy. There's only one galaxy which you may see faintly, which is M31 or the Andromeda galaxy. And that galaxy is very, very far. I think it's a few 100,000 light years away. Okay, so if you're looking at, so, and somewhere in between, all the stars in the Milky Way, all that you're seeing, some of them, so like this Proxima Centauri is 4 years away. There may be another star which is as far as 10,000 light years away. So you're seeing the light which left that star 10,000 years ago. So you're seeing outdated information, actually. Some outdated by 4 years, some outdated by 100 years, 1,000 years, 10,000 years. And different levels of outdated. Like if you're looking at 5 stars, one may be 4 years away, 4 light years away, one may be 10 light years away, one may be 1,000 light years away, another one may be 10,000 light years away. So it's a completely incorrect picture of the way the universe is right now. It's completely inaccurate. It's not the way it is right now. It's just the way it was. It's the way it was at different times in the past. Not even at one snapshot of a past. It's different snapshot of different time frames in different time scales. So, and we are simply, the mind simply makes the assumption when we look at the stars, oh, this is how it is. It's not how it is. It's not at all how it is. And that's not to take away from the beauty of what we see. Of course, whatever this illusion is, whatever this, even this just the sort of a inaccurate, incomplete representation of reality, even though it's inaccurate, even though it's incomplete, it is very inaccurate, very incomplete. Of course, it doesn't stop it from being beautiful. It's a beautiful illusion. And you can just look up there and go, wow. But to understand this limitation of the mind is to know that there is infinitely more beauty, infinitely more deeper reality, which our mind cannot even perceive, cannot even understand, cannot even see. And knowing that there is even more beauty than what you can see fills you up with even more than what you see. It just expands that awareness gives, it takes your breath away. That, oh my God, what it is, what that is, what this universe is, what this consciousness is, which is just projecting this miraculous illusion to itself. What is that song? Something about wo kitna sundar hoga. What is that song?
तुझे देख कर जग वालों को यकीन क्यों करना होगा.
हाँ.
तुझे देख कर जग वाले को यकीन क्यों करना होगा. जिसकी
इतनी
रचना
प्रतिमा इतनी सुंदर, वो कितना
वो कितना सुंदर होगा.
सुंदर होगा.
Right.
नाम तुम्हारा, नाम तुम्हारा ये सारा.
Wow, wow. हाँ, पुरुषोत्तम जी प्रतिमा में. That's exactly what it
या
is. जिसकी प्रतिमा इतनी सुंदर. But
वो
प्रतिमा, we are
कितना
not talking about. By
स्टैच्यू.
pratima, we are not talking only about the
इसकी रचना.
जिसकी रचना. That's a deeper word. Yes, absolutely. जिसकी रचना इतनी सुंदर, वो कितना सुंदर होगा.
मतलब बनाने
Pure.
वाला इतना सुंदर, तो वो कितना सुंदर होगा.
नहीं, वो नहीं. ये जो बनाया है उसने, वो इतना सुंदर है.
अच्छा.
जो ये रचना की है, ये तारे, ये नजारा, ये पूरा जो जहान है, this beautiful illusion that we all live in. If this beautiful illusion is this beautiful, then how beautiful is the creator of that illusion? And incidentally, that creator of the illusion is not something out there, separate, far away, distant. We think that the stars are distant, and therefore the creator of this is even more distant, and we feel ourselves to be even more separate from वो जिसने रचना की है, वो मेरे से और भी दूर है. But that is again another illusion. वो जो रचना की है, वही है, और कुछ है ही नहीं. हर एक विचार, हर एक अंग, हर एक सोच, हर एक दृश्य, हर एक अंग जो आपका है, it is only that. So nothing, not something distant, but it is the same self which pervades all, not far away, not something distant, but immediate and close, closer than close. Wonderful. So when we were talking last week about cause and effect, I think there was some question from Jennifer G. What was that? I forget the question now.
I agree with you.
You are
સંજીવ, એ આપણું સ્તવન છે, એના શબ્દ આમ છે, नाम है तेरा तारणहारा, कब तेरा दर्शन होगा, जिसकी प्रतिमा इतनी सुंदर, वो कितना सुंदर होगा.
right. Yeah. It's a nice stavan, Pratibha.
આપણું સ્તવન જ છે, એમ કહું.
I know, I understand. What I'm saying is we need not limit it only to the Pratima. It's the universal creation of the whole universe, of the stars and the planets. उसीलिए हम रचना तक जा सकते हैं. जिसकी रचना
इतनी सुंदर,
वो कितना सुंदर होगा.
और बीजू गीत છે ને, कौन चित्रकार है, वो कौन चित्रकार, એના જેવું.
राइट. ये कौन चित्रकार है, या ये चित्र देखकर ये चित्रकार की याद जरूर आती है, और आनी ही चाहिए. लेकिन वहां पे रुकना नहीं. ये भी याद रखना कि वो चित्रकार कहीं दूर कोई बादलों में या कहीं बैठा हुआ कोई है नहीं वैसा. ये आप ही है. It is the real you, the inner you. Yeah.
The all-pervasive you.
The all-pervasive you, not the limited you. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Wonderful. Great. So, so Jennifer ji, what was the question anyway? I mean, you can agree with me. That doesn't mean there are no questions.
No, I contemplated and I agree with you.
Okay, but what was it? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I'm in the now.
You're in the now. You're in the now. There is no past. There is no past. Beautiful, beautiful. All is just happening.
Good dream, Jennifer.
All is just
Jennifer, ma'am.
Same here.
All is just happening in the here and the now. There is nothing to, there is only the now. Happening. Great. Good. Zen, where are you? Are you in Katar Khadak now?
Yes, I'm in Ramkutir.
Wah, badhiya.
This is my
Wonderful.
room. I've moved here. I'm teaching here. I'm doing my sadhana here. I'm doing some beautiful wildlife photography here. Doing some
Okay.
birding, going for nice runs, doing movement therapy here. I go to Hawa Mahal and Krishna Kuti, depending on the weather, and do movement therapy every evening.
Okay.
Just
Beautiful.
this is amazing. The amount of healing that I've managed to do in this much time, I haven't been able to do in 15 years in Delhi.
Wow. That's really awesome. Great. Very nice. So you took the step. That happened, rather we should say it happened. It actually
I
happened.
have to do it.
It
It
is all
happened.
happening.
It happened.
It happened. Wonderful. Yeah, because see, our
Absolutely.
language जो है ना, हमें वो भी हमें we need to, we can become more aware of how the words are used. That even though there is an understanding of that only that is happening, there is an understanding of that there is only that and only that is happening. Our normal language is made up of I am doing, I am going, I did this, I did that, right? So isko bhi hame, and that also will happen, because it is not something you and I can do either, which is modify language, but it will also happen, and may it happen that
It naturally happens. It naturally happens.
it
Like with
naturally
me
happens
now, the word
that
I and me I use very loosely as a this one, This being here behaves like this. This being here has to go that. And those two then this and these two have to go there. Like I talk like that party. And the other day it was really interesting because I was in this intense conversation with somebody, with some bureaucrat about something, and they were like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "I'm a nobody." And I just said it
yeah,
out. I didn't even think about it for a second. I was like,
yeah,
"I'm nobody. Don't worry about that."
yeah,
And it just happened. It just started happening.
correct. And what was that other person's response? I'm nobody.
They just like looked at me like, "No, I'm asking you a serious question." I'm like, "I'm very serious. I'm nobody." Like,
Yeah,
yes, I might know people who are somebodies. I am a nobody.
correct. Exactly. Yeah, there is nobody there. Even I am nobody can be further taken to there is nobody here.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've
Right.
actually said that to someone screaming at me once. I was like, listen, there's no second person inside sitting between my eyes looking at you. There's just what you see is what you get. There's just
Right.
one guy here, that same external person. So stop talking like there's a second person inside me somewhere.
Yeah. There is no one, there is nobody here. There is nobody
Absolutely.
here. Yeah. If that becomes a, when that becomes a home where you live and where you come from, rather than an occasional visitor to that, then the entire life happens
It's
so
bliss,
without
it's
resistance.
magic.
There
It's
is
absolutely,
madness.
it's pure
It's
flow.
absolute. There is no resistance. When there is nothing there, what remains to
Right.
resist? What there's nothing there. There's वो उसके साथ लड़ने झगड़ने या उसको रोकने के लिए कुछ है ही नहीं. Then that it
Uh,
just everything is simply in a flow, and we simply
right.
get out of the way. And And again, that's a limitation of language when we say we get out of the way. Getting out of the way happens.
Right.
Because
Right.
who are we to get out of the way to begin with?
Like for
So
example, I was struggling with anxiety and past traumas for the last 2 weeks. A
yeah,
lot of past traumas and anxiety because I finally feel myself in an emotionally safe space where I can deal with those things. So a lot of them came up.
yeah,
And first few days was hell. It was like every time I'd get out of bed, it would be like, should I just end it now? And
yeah,
but then I reached a point where this voice inside me just reconnected to the SSY stage and said, but wait, Zen himself is an illusion. So why are we stressing about any of Zen's problems?
exactly, exactly,
And it just
exactly.
happened automatically like an epiphany. And suddenly it just doesn't bother me. It's like, okay, now I can look at it very objectively. Like, let's see what happened back there with this
Correct.
guy called.
Called Zen. Right,
It is
exactly.
depersonalized completely in a very healthy way.
Yeah, yeah. But when you say you get up in the morning and say it's too much, let's just end it. Are you talking about ending the Katar Kadak experience or ending the whole
No, no,
event
no.
called Zen?
Ending the whole event called Zen.
Arey baap re.
No, no. It was
Eh,
it's just this passing thought which used to
of
come.
course, of course.
And
अभी ये
and
passing
one of
thought
my
अगर
realizations in life, like working in mental health, is something which I shared with a lot of people when I had my foundation, was that when you think you need to kill yourself, when you reach that point of suicide, you need to be reminded, and you need to remind others as well, what I learned, which is you do not need to die. Your current life and the character that you play in it are a mismatch, and that's what needs to die. That's what needs to change.
hmm,
The way you're looking
yeah,
at the world and connecting with thoughts in your head, that needs to die. This paradigm that you're existing in does not suit you. That's where the problem is. The figment of
yeah,
imagination called
yeah,
you is what needs to die, because he's not satisfied in this life because he isn't satisfying the aims that he thinks symbolize happiness and arrival and whatever else he's chasing.
correct. But that's not the physical body. Don't confuse that with the physical body. The death of that idea or the thought
I did
that
once many years ago, but not after that. Yeah.
right. No, no. What I'm saying is, be very careful when you say that it is that
Right.
story which needs to die, the story of I that needs to die. That
Yeah.
story of I is not the physical body. It's a
Yeah.
thought, it's a
Of course.
concept.
I
It's
always state that. I always make a
yeah,
point to explain that. Yeah.
right. So no, so make sure you make that distinction. That
Always,
it
always.
yeah, yeah. So people who think this and say, okay, my life does not align with this higher self and whatever, therefore I'm going to kill
Don't
my
change your
body.
life. No,
No,
your
no,
body
change.
is
No, no,
your body is perfectly fine and functional.
exactly, exactly. But this is what causes suicide, right? Of these
Yeah,
people
true,
physically killing
true,
themselves is they
true.
think that this misalignment ends with the end of the body. It doesn't,
It doesn't. It
because
doesn't.
that's a completely different phenomenon. What we are talking about is the sense and the false notion that there is a story called Zen, there's a story called Sanjeev, there's a story. That story
And there is an
can end,
immovable, unchangeable character called Zen.
yeah,
And that Zen cannot be transformed. Zen cannot be somebody else. There is one Zen who is fixed and who has fixed desires and fixed needs and fixed wants and fixed definitions of happiness. That's when it becomes problematic, because then
no,
you're
no,
stuck.
it's no, you have to take it one more step forward. There's one more step forward which I
Right.
there is one more step forward. It is not only that there is a separate one who has these fixed ideas or fixed beliefs and all of that. That one which you think exists separately, having fixed ideas and fixed notions and whatever, dogmas and whatever, that doesn't exist.
Mm.
In reality, there is
Right.
no such thing. There is no such
Yeah.
entity. In when you look closely, it appears as if there is that story, that self, that person, that wo kahani lagti hai ki sach hai aur hai. But if you go
Bilkul.
closely and look at it, if you take each part, whether it's the thoughts or the beliefs or the physical body or the past or all the narrative about whatever that is, if you look closely at each one of them, all you find that what really exists is the knowing of it. You know that the knowing of it is all that exists, not it. The true essence of existence is not it. Like you take a thought,
Right.
the thought has no independent existence outside of the knowing of that thought.
And outside of the connecting and reacting to that thought.
That's the next step, but that's a
That's the next
sort of
step.
another
Right.
thought. That's another thought, another thought, another thought. But each thought in itself, there is no
Right.
independent existence of it other than the knowing of it. And the knowing of it has no independent existence other than the knower of that thought. The knower of that thought is
Absolutely.
all that exists. So,
Absolutely.
right. So all this idea that Zen who has these fixed beliefs and the past and all of that has no independent existence at all. There is nothing like that. It's simply the only
Absolutely.
one consciousness showing up in this form, showing up in that form momentarily and in this now, but having
Right.
no independent reality, no independent existence. So in that sense, there
Absolutely.
is nothing to change, there's nothing to ignore, there is nothing to fix, there's nothing to destroy. There is nothing there. There is nothing there. I mean, there's not, if
Yeah.
there's nothing there, what are you
Absolutely.
going to change and what are you going to
Absolutely.
destroy? There's nothing there except
Yeah.
that. So when we come to that, this false notion of the story of us, the story of I also falls away automatically along with it. And then the question of even destroying that ego or transforming that ego or improving that ego, all of that becomes moot. There's nobody there to
I
change. There's
stop
nobody
I
there.
stop fighting the ego also.
Right, right. There's
If
nothing.
anything, and even if I notice it, I just play with it as characters. Like I make it a theatrical experience for myself until it itself finds its reasons to dissolve. Like,
Right.
okay,
That's, yeah. No,
you like being the somebody person. Let's play the somebody for a few days and see what comes of it. And somewhere in the middle, it'll just be laughing at itself and it'll just dissolve. Like, okay, fine, I give up. You figure it out. You've seen through me.
right. Yeah. Something like that. But it's not even you figure it out. It's there's nothing there to figure out, and there's nobody there to figure out. So
You
when
being just the observer notion, just a notion of the observer, just a silent observer.
yeah, in a sense, the silent observer, but even beyond that, the creator of all that observation, the creator of the
All the
observation, the
same.
creator of the observer also. That is
Mm.
what we are. So
That unified, yeah, right.
the unified, the one, because even the observer and witness and all of that is still playing in the realm of the separate I. It's just
Right,
a more
right,
exalted I.
right,
It's a more exalted I.
right.
It's a more enlightened I,
And
but
mixed
it's
up
still the I.
into three, four different concepts of fire. Right,
Yeah,
absolutely,
exactly.
absolutely.
So where we want to ultimately, not we, where what is available or what is possible is actually even that dropping away, and all that is that,
Yeah, just
and that is happening. And in that happening, there is
just
no,
experiential reality.
exactly. And in that, there is no room or question of destroying the ego. And of course, there's no question of destroying the body. That is
Absolutely.
completely out of the realm of possibility. Great. Wonderful. Anyone has any thoughts or questions?
You
that they
won't
would
you
like.
won't believe how I came to this session.
Yeah.
I was walking outside and I was walking down to Manjo's Kuti to try and find him.
Hmm.
And it started raining really hard. And the
Okay.
mantra you gave me at the SSY initiation just popped into my head. And I was like, wait, am I too late to open door today? And I just
Yeah.
ran back and when I switched it on, and I was like, okay, just left in fast. And I just signed in and I'm here. And I was really missing
Yeah.
you. Like I heard your voice a few times, like say that some of the things that you had said in the past. And I was like, I need to
Sure.
reconnect. Let's just go back right now.
Wonderful. 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 Wonderful.
Like as you
Play of
said,
life.
it just happened. It just
Yeah.
happened. I
It,
didn't make any choices.
yeah. And even when you make choices, it is only a thought that we are
Not
making
you
choices.
those choices.
There
Absolutely.
isn't any. There is only the
Absolutely.
choice of.
It was a choice that was inevitably going to be yours to make, and you were inevitably going to choose that if you zoom out enough. You will see that.
Correct. And there is only the one choice, the one that is choosing. There is only that, not you, not
Right.
it is that,
Right.
the will of divine or divine intelligence, divine will and volition. That's all that's happening.
Which I have reconnected
Stay.
with here, and it's
Yeah,
powerful.
yeah. So now we stay with it and make that our home. That is the
Absolutely.
whole. Make that our home. So yeah,
Absolutely.
Sonal, you had a question on the Dying to Be Me book and Anita Moorjani. What was the question?
So regarding the discussion which we had last time, so I
Yeah.
asked you the question, what about Anita Moorjani then?
What
She
about her?
she leaving the body and then she coming back and all.
What about it? But
So awareness point of view,
the
when we were
awareness.
discussing, yeah.
So are you
Last time
aware
we
of
were
this?
discussing. Last time we were discussing, na.
Yeah, but no,
So
but
then about the soul leaving the body and then again coming back and all.
yeah,
So
right. So
how do we explain from the awareness point of view? Because that's a real story and a book written on it.
yeah,
So then the point was last time what we were discussing.
right. But so I'm not
We
sure what.
cannot deny that book, right? If that's a reality.
Yeah.
So then how does it explain from the awareness? Do you think that it's only the awareness or it is like something related to second, what do you call, leaving the body, going out?
No, the body itself is awareness. The idea of the soul is awareness. Having a thought that there is a soul. That thought of the soul leaving the body is another thought. The idea of that soul returning to this body, the lessons to be learned, the messages that she received are all thoughts happening in awareness. The understanding that all is awareness is not in conflict with anything. Is not in conflict with anything. All is possible. So within awareness, if awareness out of its volition and its will to create an experience called Anita Moorjani, an experience in which there is an Anita Moorjani, then there is a soul which has certain qualities and characteristics, which leaves this story called Anita Moorjani and then returns to that body. And then there's a story and there's a book and there's a Sonal who reads that book. All of that is happening with the will and volition of divine intelligence. And there's no conflict. It's not a It's not if there is only divine intelligence, how come there is a soul? No, there's nothing like that. There's no such conflict within awareness with the volition and will of divine intelligence. All of this is possible. All of these are possibilities, but they all happen within the will and volition of divine consciousness. Whether we talk about soul, we talk about karma, we talk about out-of-body experiences, near-death experiences, messages from the beyond, all of that. It doesn't, awareness being all there is does not rule out any of this. All we are saying is that all of it is whatever it is, all of it is happening with the will and volition of divine intelligence, divine consciousness. That's all that is happening. You're getting the point? It's not in conflict. There's no, if this happens, then what about consciousness? Nothing like that. Within consciousness, yes. Within consciousness, near-death experiences. Within consciousness, karma. But that is not the ultimate reality. Whether you talk about NDEs, you talk about the soul, you talk about karma, you talk about Anita Murjani, you talk about the book, you talk about Sonal Mehta, you talk about me, all of it is true at a relative level. It's true at one level. It's all true. But it's not the ultimate truth. The ultimate truth is that all of this is happening with the will and volition of divine intelligence and divine consciousness. That's all we are saying.
Could we also say that
Okay, sir.
that all of life and all of these concepts associated with it and experiences associated with it are but a part of a smaller part of that larger thing we call ultimate consciousness?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a limited one aspect, one dimension, one particular expression,
Right.
one expression of that infinite divine consciousness. One expression of it is Zen, one expression of it is Katar Kadak, one other expression is wildlife, another expression is movement, another expression is NDEs, and another expression is karma, and another expression is terrorists, and another expression is conflict, another expression is Ukraine-Russia war, another expression is anything. There is nothing you can possibly think of or experience or conceive of which is outside of divine consciousness. Because a very simple experiment you can do right now, which is, okay, give me an example of something which is outside of consciousness. You can't, because there is no such thing.
Memory,
Everything
maybe.
Sorry?
Memory,
What?
maybe.
Memory.
Memory.
Memory is the simplest thing to it. Memory is simply a thought. Memory is simply a thought, and even memory does not exist, does not have an independent existence. Memory without
Right.
knowing,
It's an echo of an incident in the consciousness.
memory when it cannot exist without the rememberer. There is no such thing.
Yeah. I mean, the consciousness is sort of the medium in which it exists.
Exactly. So without the medium, it's the medium, and the only medium is consciousness.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
so nothing exists out of this medium called consciousness, including memories and NDs and karma and terrorism. So the saint and the murderer, all part of one dream, one medium called, and we give it a name: God, consciousness, awareness, whatever. Great. No, you're on mute, Zen.
you, Manoj, have been talking exactly the same language the last few days.
You have been
The
talking
whole
about
thing of all of it being part of one.
yeah.
We were just talking about it today. How the murderer and the murdered, and the criminal and the victim are all part of that same divine will, and your will to interfere in it is all about heroics, is all about the savior complex, the messiah complex at some level. And you just want to make things
Which
better
which which is also
in a
okay,
way.
Zen. No, which is also
No, it's
okay.
not a bad thing.
No, no,
We
no, no,
weren't
no,
judging it.
no, no, not even bad or good. I'm saying even that Messiah, when it shows up as a Messiah, is also with the will and volition of divine consciousness only, including the Messiah. So it's not like there is
I'm
all
gonna
this
take
show
this point
happening.
back to him. Yes, this is where the conversation needs to go now.
Yeah, absolutely. Even the
Absolutely,
Messiah is welcome. All is welcome.
absolutely.
We don't have to say that, oh, you're being a Messiah and a hero and all. Just remember that this consciousness is all happening on its own. Well, for your information, the
Yeah.
Messiah is also happening on its own. And it is
Of
also part
course,
of divine will and
absolutely,
consciousness. So we do not have to
absolutely.
reject we do not have to reject the murderer or the Messiah.
Right, right, right.
Embrace both as expressions of divine will and consciousness.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's so we don't have to say कि अरे hero मत बनो. बनो ना, hero बनना है तो बनो if divine will wishes
I'm
to be a
gonna
hero.
I'm gonna take this to him to continue that conversation.
Sure.
Because this is where we like hit a roadblock and like moved away from it.
Correct. Don't move away from it. Embrace it all.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I think we, okay. Hari Om Tat Sat. Pray for everyone to be joyous, happy, and live in this, which you are anyway.